everybody. Today on the show, it's Ask a Milkmaid, because for some reason I decided to put braids on top of my head today. And for the guy who commented a couple weeks ago that I was wearing too much makeup, well, these foundation-free blackheads are for you, buddy. Your questions after the intro. So to kick things off, I'm going to read some of the comments from last week's video, our hookups ruining dating, because I wanted to know from you, yes you, what you thought about this idea that the hookup culture is somehow eroding our collective ability to maintain long-term romantic relationships. At Tanya Morris said, body integrity. I have a 13-year-old daughter. Bless you. And body integrity is a topic we speak of when discussing boys and her peers. I'm one of those moms that doesn't allow her young and very impressionable daughter access to social media. Her friendships are formed through her hobbies and with peers that share the same interest. I don't mind ... hook up. At Scott Weber, or Weber? Cristen, when your friends hook up, do you think it takes the romance out of a relationship? I always notice that the relationships where people are hooked up always seem to end. Honestly, I think a lot of times when my friends are hooking up, they aren't really even looking for romance. Hookups are often hookups, and you need to be honest with yourself about hooking up because it can be challenging to reverse engineer a dating relationship for the long term out of a hookup scenario. At Amy O made a good point, saying the hookup culture has always been there, it's just not a secret anymore. And then at Martin Vasquez sums it up very well. Lack of education is the problem with everything, in my opinion. Martin Vasquez, knowledge is power. So for this week's Ask Kristen, at Inez Jakovlejic, am I even close with the last name pronunciation? She wants to know, Kristen, hello. I wanted to ask you if you could do a podcast episode or video on aromantics. I never see anyone talking about it, and it's not the same as asexual people who do get more attention and recognition lately, which is great. I have many people and areas in my life that I love and am passionate about, and I have a strong sense of self. I'm happy, but I never have felt the need for a relationship, even though I feel physical attraction. I would love to see people talk more about aromantics. So guess what, Inez? Your wish is coming true. So what is Inez talking about? Aromantics are not necessarily asexual, just as asexual identified people are not necessarily aromantic. Asexual people who might not be interested in sex often do get into long-term relationships, some even get married, and of the statistics that I found when I was actually researching asexuality a while ago for the HowStuffWorks.com article, How Asexuality Works, only 17 to 18% of asexual identified people also identify as aromantic. So specifically what aromantic means is really just not being that interested in romance. There are also gray areas within aromantics of people who might feel romantic compulsions but actively resist it, people who have been romantic in the past and aren't in the present. For simplicity's sake, it's simply a lack of wanting to forge romantic relationships. But as Inez points out, that doesn't mean that physical attraction might not be involved from time to time. And for language nerds out there, aromantics refer to friend crushes as squishes. Makes me think of squishing a marshmallow. Squish. Now, if this sounds bizarre to you, this idea that you wouldn't want to fall in love, that you wouldn't want to necessarily get involved in a romantic relationship, well, it doesn't necessarily mean that something is wrong with people who are aromantic or asexual. It simply means that they see the world through a different lens than you and I do. So I'd love to hear from other people who also identify as aromantic or who are single by choice, who might like going out dating, might like going out and hooking up, but have no desire for a relationship. I want to hear from everybody else questions that you have for me. Next week is Halloween, so if you have any spooky, supernatural, what should I dress up as kinds of questions, I'll be a Ghostbuster. See you next week, and stay terrific.